All right, guys, here's the second question. In the first part, you're asked to draw up a probability distribution table for x in terms of k. So you actually have enough information right now to go ahead and just get started. But since your table is going to be in terms of k, you're going to have variables in your table, and that's all right. So they give you your x values. They say x can be -1, +1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that's your top row, and you can box it in if you want to. Okay, and now you start filling them in. So they give you a formula to calculate the probability, right? And if you want, you can kind of do this in your head, but I did it off to the side because to me it just kind of helps. So k times, and then you plug in your x value. So for this first one, if you plug in a -1 and then square it. So that comes out to be k times +1 or just k. All right, whoops, I took away too much there. So in this first spot, we're going to put a k. And then if you keep doing that with all of the x values, like a +1, k times 1 squared, you're going to also end up with k. And then as you start to get this pattern down, you can say, okay, well, if I square 2, that's 4k, and if I square 3, that's 9k. So it's pretty simple. And that's the first part of that question. Then it says, find the value of k. Okay, so your table is supposed to be in terms of k, but now find k. So what we know about probability distribution tables is that my probabilities have to total to be 1. So if I set up an equation and if I add up all of these values, they're all like terms, then all I have to do is set that up to be 15k is equal to 1. And if you divide both sides by 15, you get k is equal to 1/15. And that's all they ask you for in that first question. Draw up a probability distribution table and find the value of k. Then you move into the second part, which says find the expected value. So by definition, the expected value is the sum of all the x values times their corresponding probability. So you need the table here to calculate this. And what I did in the notes that I posted for my solutions, I rewrote the table, but for this video purpose, what I'm going to do is just kind of plug this k back in to each one of these boxes. So this equals 1/15, and this would also be 1/15. This would be 4/15, and this would be 9/15. Okay. And for an ACE exam, that would be okay. Or you could put them underneath it as well, so that way they can see the original table in terms of K as well as your probabilities. So if I come back down here and I plug those in to my expected value formula, then my expected value of X is, starting with the first one, -1 times 1/15 plus +1 times 1/15 plus 2 times 4/15, and finally 3 times 9/15. And 9/15 can be simplified, but that is okay. We can leave it just like that. And your expected value comes out to be 7/3. Okay, so that is the first part that they want us to figure out. The second thing they want us to do is to calculate the variance. So the variance of x, by definition, is equal to the sum of all of the x values squared times their corresponding probabilities minus the expected value of x squared. So it's always important you find your expected value first when doing this because the expected value is a part of your variance. And so you can use the work that you did for calculating the expected value, so you don't have to keep scrolling up as much, to find your x values. So the first one, we've got -1 squared times the probability of 1/15 plus +1 squared times 1/15 and so forth. 2 squared times 4/15 plus 3 squared times 9/15 minus your expected value, 7/3 squared. And all you have to do is type that in. I do it in 2 parts and then I subtract it, but you can do it all at once if you want to. But you get 52/45. And for both of these answers, guys, I would not do 3 significant figures. I would just keep it as a fraction because it's cleaner and that's just another step that you have to do. So that is it.